Welcome into another edition of Nighttime at Noon here from City National Arena on all of your VGK digital channels as well as Fox Sports Las Vegas. We bring you inside Studio 31. Ashali, Vise here with you today, joined by the VGK insider, Gary Lawless. Gary, you've had a night to sleep, to reset. Your initial thoughts as we get going on where the Golden Knights stand right now.
Missed opportunity. The team didn't. Vegas is a much better team in the standings than New Jersey, and you look at the rosters. The Vegas roster, much better than the Jersey roster at this time. They let New Jersey hang around for a long time, and a couple bad goals, and the inability to finish cost them two really important points in the standings. Dallas lost last night. If Vegas hadn't won, you wake up this morning and you're in a much better place.
Well, practice just wrapped up, and Pete DeBoer is meeting with the media now, so let's take a listen to that.
Strung together 5, 6, 7 wins before here. We're as close to healthy as we've been all year. So, yeah, I mean, we've got some tough opponents, but I think last night showed that there are no easy opponents this time of year. So, one game at a time, but we know what we've got to do, and it's on us to get it done.
Game to these last two, as far as whether it's get guys in front of the net, kind of string it a goal, or anything?
No, we didn't change anything. No, I mean, that's the NHL. We hit two hot goalies, and we have to help ourselves though too. I think last night 23 block shots, 23 missed shots, so that's 50 opportunities to get more action at the net and or rebounds, that you don't. So I think it's a combination, but yeah, I mean, it was the same plan offensively we had against Calgary when we scored 6 or 7 that we had in Edmonton that we had last night. We just, I think it's a combination of those things.
Those shots, is the guys just trying to be too perfect? Is the guys squeezing a little bit, knowing how important these games are?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, I think just trying to make a perfect shot. I think probably more than anything in at least a handful of those situations. And for this time of year and in the playoffs, a lot of times it's shot rebound action that results in the goal. So we've got to get a little more of that mindset.
You said, I think last year, you got you in the fight, and that's what it took to have the fight within themselves. Is it magnified even more now, or are there more intangibles than you think you're going to do?
Sorry, what did I say, Ed? The fight?
You got your guys at the fight to do this,
Yeah.
to get done.
Yeah.
Is it magnified even more now, or are there more intangibles you think you need to whether win out or win it?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I really believe we can win out. I think that's that's what we've got to do. That's got to be our goal. And I think if we do that, I don't know if we'll need help. I mean, what's that put us at? 97 points. Hard to believe it's going to take 97 points to make the playoffs. But that's reality. I mean, the way that the conference is set up this year, I think. I want to think when we played Vegas when I was still in San Jose that year, I think we were the 2 seed, at around 100 points. I think they had maybe 93 as the 3rd seed. So, but that's what it's going to take. So that's what we've got to get done.
How is their
What? The energy? Yeah, you know what? Good. We got a veteran group. We get it. I think. The message is you can't waste any energy right now on missed opportunities over the last week. We've got to look forward at the task at hand and get excited about, showing everybody that we're capable of doing this.
I asked you a little bit about this last night, but where's the goaltending factor in with that? How is that kind of?
Well,
I guess your faith, for lack of a better phrase.
Well, they're a piece of that for sure, and the other piece is scoring, So, I mean, they go hand in hand. The teams that are winning right now and that win at the end of the day get timely goals and get really good goaltending. So we need both those.
guys, anything else for Pete?
Thank you.
Appreciate coaching speed.
All right, so there was Pete DeBoer, Gary. I sent out a tweet this morning. Some people called me brave, but I wanted to know what the fans wanted us to talk about, what they wanted to know. One of the more popular questions is there still a chance to make the playoffs? And it seems to me that there is. Pete DeBoer said it there. Their goal has to be to win out. They have strung together 2 5-game win streaks already this season.
So the first thing is all of this is based on projections, right? It's a guess. They're guessing that LA will win this, will get this many points, or Dallas will get this many points. Dallas lost to Vancouver last night, right? LA has Anaheim tonight, and then they have Anaheim again later this week. Those are games that, Anaheim's out, but LA's their crosstown rival. The New York Islanders never lay down for the New York Rangers. The Anaheim Ducks aren't going to lay down for the LA Kings. So we don't even know if Vegas needs to win out. LA could lose 2 games, right? And Vegas is 3 points back of them this morning?
Yep.
And
they're going to have a game in hand again after tonight.
Yeah, so, there we go. There's the standings.
Here we go. Look at that.
So, who did that?
I didn't know we could do
someone's
that.
On the,
Look
someone's
at
on
that.
the ball. Good job,
Floyd
Floyd.
over there.
So Vegas is 87. Dallas is at 91. Vegas plays Dallas. That's a 4-point game. And they're 3 back of LA. So we say they need 97. Well, they might need 94. Listen, I'd be shocked if LA only won 2 of their last 5, but, who
Crazier
knows?
things have happened.
Yeah.
They're depleted. Crazier things
Who
have
knows,
happened, right?
You know what I mean? Maybe they get a hot cold. Maybe John Gibson stands on his head in both those games.
Which
Dallas
he's capable
Aikens
of
is
doing.
gonna run him out for both of them. Trevor Zegras wants to be Rookie of the Year. I'm sure he does. I'm sure that's part of his motivation right now. So you never know. Now, can they win? If they win 5 in a row and they get to 97, they probably get in.
Pete made the comment about how he'd be shocked or he's surprised that it might take 97 to get in.
Yeah.
What have you noticed this season? Why do you think it's that way?
Well, but teams have kept winning. That that you wouldn't have the separation in the Pacific. It looked like it was going to be 3 teams and everybody else. It was going to be Vegas, Calgary, and Edmonton. Well, it's Calgary, LA, and Edmonton, and LA, who has been banged up, has kept winning. Right? That's a surprise. Vancouver, all of a sudden, is only 1 point back of Vegas. They've won 6 in a row. Teams in the Pacific have kept winning and driven that number up. Washington is 3rd in their division, I believe, and I think they're only at 99 now. I think they're at 97 going into last night, and they're in their they're locked in. So it's show us that. Show us Washington. Sorry, Washington is second
card
with 96 points. Now that's in the wild card race there. Sorry. Okay. So lots of it's Pete is surprised that some teams have just kept winning.
It's kind of exciting, though, when you look at the league
fantastic.
moving forward,
It's a great race.
right? It's going to be potentially races and races and races. The league's only getting better.
I listened to a bunch of radio and podcasts and stuff, and it's so amazing. I turned on the radio this morning, Sirius XM 91 NHL radio, and they every morning every show dedicated a block to Vegas. No one's talking about New Jersey. No one's talking about the Islanders. The only team out of the playoff picture that people are talking about right now
Vegas.
is Vegas. And Vancouver to a much lesser extent, but because they've won 6 in a row and people are kind of wondering if Bruce Boudreau is going to get them in.
I understand that this is a much different group than it was back in 2017-18. Different coaching staff, all of that. But this isn't an organization that has built itself on people counting them out. You have all these people saying Vegas is out of it when, as you said, they could win out. They've won 5 games in a row twice this season. Do you think that extra motivation, extra doubt from the outside, do you think that will play into anything, make any difference in this final stretch?
Maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know how much Sirius XM 91 Mark Stone listens to in the morning.
Yeah. Totally.
right? Although there's a Ryan Whitney,
Yeah.
Spittin' Chicklets, put out a tweet this morning saying that this is hockey karma coming to roost against the Golden Knights. And talk to Ryan later because it's pretty, I don't agree with what he's saying. I got a ton of texts this morning asking me, is this because they tinkered with something that was, trying to fix something that wasn't broken? It was broken. They didn't win the Stanley Cup. That is one of the things that really fascinates me.
That's been the ultimate goal from day one.
So I worked in a market where they couldn't make trades, Winnipeg. Every player in the National Hockey League that has a no move has Winnipeg on his no move, or a really high percentage. It's so Kevin Cheveldayoff's hands were always tied. It was really hard for him to make trades. Still is. And they don't get. If they Alex Pietrangelo didn't fly to Winnipeg to check out their offer when he was an unrestricted free agent. He came here, and then they never let him leave. They got him here, and they got him to sign a contract. And this notion that there's turnover on every team in the NHL. It's natural. It's progression. Is it a little more high profile here? Yeah, because they get the best guys available.
I go back to what Jack Eichel said so many times when he was first coming into the lineup. Pressure is a privilege. That's the token phrase that's kind of seems relevant for this team right now as well. Like you're saying, all eyes are on it. There's all these expectations. That's a privilege. It's a testament to how much they've done to this point. Now,
do we have to go?
No.
So Riley Smith was asked earlier this year. You're playing in the last year of your contract. What's that feel like? And basically he said, well, everybody here is playing in their last year of their contract.
Every year.
It'll be interesting to see if Riley Smith, if the Golden Knights offer him an extension, if he signs it. He will. Players want to play here. Players like this pressure. You keep looking at your phone.
I'm looking at my phone to see who I think we're going to be getting.
So
Braden
just wave
McNabb.
at me.
We're going to be getting Braden McNabb here
when
soon.
we're ready to go, because I'm getting distracted. Shane Hnidy will find that funny that I'm getting distracted.
Gary's getting distracted by others looking at their
someone
phone.
else looking at their
karma,
phone.
Gary's bringing up the word karma earlier. I'm just making sure we don't miss Braden McNabb.
I got you. Yeah. But the point is, the players love playing here. They love what management is trying to do, make the team better. And I'll tell you what, if Vegas misses the playoffs this year, the Golden Knights aren't broken. They'll go into next, or if they make the playoffs and they lose in the first round or second or third, they'll go into next year, no matter any of those scenarios, they'll go in next year favored to win the Pacific. This is a whale of a hockey team. That is, I think they're at 500 man games lost right now.
You mentioned Riley Smith. Like we're still missing key
hey,
pieces like that.
You know
Will
what?
Carrier, a big piece. Brett Howden was major
Brett
this
Howden
season.
is, to me, Riley Smith for sure. You know what I mean? Like he's part of the culture. He's a big leader here. Quiet around us, but plays the right way all the time. And leads with his play. Anyways. They'll be favored to win the Pacific. This is a really good hockey team. 500 man games lost. That's a massive number. Is Braden talking? I'll
Braden
stop.
McNabb.
You're supposed to wave at me.
Wave. Braden McNabb is here. Let's take a listen.
When you say that, and Pete just said the same thing, it's almost like you just go out there, you don't think about it. There's no stress. This Golden Knights team has gone out there on the ice in the past and gone on winning runs, just going out there, sort of having fun. Now, spotlight's on you. There's no margin for error. There's got to be a difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, we're in playoffs right now for us, and you get in the playoffs, there is no margin for error. When mistakes happen, you can almost see it go in your net. So, we know that, and we have veteran guys, we have guys who have won, and we got great leadership. So, that's part of the game and part of our job, and
our job is to go win 5 games. Starts tomorrow and go from there.
Pete said you had to, but Pete said you had to fight to do it within the room. The fight was there. What else is there? What other intangibles are needed to do what you have?
Yeah, I mean the willingness, the grit, the character, it's there. We got to find ways to put the puck in the net and keep it out of our net. You know, we're a confident group when we stick to our structure and we play with our structure and play as 5 in all 3 zones. And you know, I think if we can come out with better starts, try and get that first one, get that confidence, and get that first one, go from there.
Pete mentioned last night that the situation you're in with no margin for error, maybe it's hard to play hockey that way, with that much pressure. Does it feel that way on the ice?
Yeah, I mean it's a desperate time for us, and like I was mentioned before, it's playoff time, and it's the exact same way in playoffs. You know, you're desperate, and your margin for error is very little. So it's kind of the same deal, and we've got a group in there who's been through a lot of playoffs and know how to play in the playoffs. So, you know, we're confident that we can win these games, and it's important just not to get too ahead of ourselves. Got to get a win tomorrow, and you know, however it goes, you can't be too high or low. You know, you got to just take it one game at a time.
Third period, last couple of games, it's just been a matter of the other teams getting a couple of bounces and coming their ways. First 40 minutes last week, you guys played well.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. It's hockey. Bounces is a big part of it. You know, honestly, I would like our first period to be a little better. Kind of come out with the lead there, especially a team like that who's out of the playoffs and like freewheeling it out there. So if you can kind of demolish them early, that would have been better. But you know, it's a 1-0 game going into that, and second period we dominated, and if we could have found a way to put some in the net, you know, it would have been probably a different story.
Braden, the first year, we think back to this team. A lot of the questions that are being asked, that we ask you after skate, after games, the first answer many times was this locker room, the chemistry, the bond, that sort of misfit feeling. This season, that answer hasn't been there. And excuse me if you know the bond is there, but we just haven't heard that or felt that. Is it the same? Is it different? Is there a good chemistry among everybody? I'm sure y'all get along, but it seems like it's different than the first season.
Well, first year was the first year. You know, that was a special year. Every year is kind of different. But yeah, the bond's great in this room. The guys love each other and want to battle for each other. That's there for sure. It's been a weird year with injuries in and out. Guys are in and out of the lineup and whatnot. But no, we're strong as a group, and we got a great bond.
Guys, anything else for Braden? Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Thanks, Braden.
All right, there's Braden McNabb. We'll have Max Pacioretty soon. We're going to head to break, but first, the Craggy Range is the perfect place to enjoy a pregame or postgame meal, or to come watch your Knights on one of the Craggy Range big screen TVs or the huge outdoor LED screen. Enjoy your favorite craft beer, wine, bourbon, or all kinds of cocktails while you catch the action. You can find a full menu for the whole family, plus a bar with 16 beer taps. Craggy Range at the Dollar Loan Center, and even features an extended patio. The Craggy Range Sports Bar and Grill is open daily, no ticket required. We'll be back on Nighttime at Noon. back from Studio 31 here at City National Arena. This is Nighttime at Noon. I am Ashali, Vise, joined by the VGK insider Gary Lawless, but you don't want to hear from us right now. You want to hear from Max Pacioretty. Let's take a listen.
I don't know if it necessarily feels that way. I think you hold yourself to a high standard no matter what position you're in, whether you're in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, fighting for your life. You got to have the same mentality every time you get out there. And, you know, we know the situation we're in right now. Doesn't mean we should grip the stick tight. It means that we should play, you know, as hard as we can and make sure that we do whatever it takes to win a hockey game, one at a time. And hopefully we can start with that tomorrow.
You mentioned not gripping the sticks tight. You guys missed the net a lot last game. Was there kind of part of that, knowing how important these games are?
We also hit the net a lot, so I think it's more of, it's a fine line between always wanting to put everything on net, but also at the same time you're making the goalie feel good if you're just throwing it on net from everywhere. So I'd say more it's, you know, have that confidence, make that extra play to make the goalie get out of position, make him go lateral, give yourself a better opportunity to score rather than just, you know, putting his pillows from every angle.
You did mention that it's sort of a historic issue with this team, this club. You know, this playoff series when things get really tight, the offense seems to try to push and respect on that. Maybe why, and do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. The last time it was against a team that's not in the playoffs, so yeah, that's, you know, not the case. As you go on further in the playoffs, every team scoring dries up. You win games 1-0. Tampa won 1-0 on a game. They won the Stanley Cup on a game like that. So I think it's harder to score the later you get into the playoffs. But you know, we're not there right now. We played against a team that's out of the playoffs yesterday and made the goalie look really good and give him credit. But at the same time, got to have that confidence to make the extra play and make him move laterally.
Is that what, like you're mentioning, that that's not a playoff team? Is that more of an indictment against offense, not against that type of team, not against the goalie?
No, every game writes its own story. Happened last night doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. You know, we've played against, if you want to talk historically, we've scored a lot of goals against New Jersey in game 76 of the year. So you can't just, it's easy to just cherry pick one game here or there and say, you know, the offense is this or that. That's unfair to us as players because, you know, there are times where it happens, times where it doesn't happen. Historically, our team has scored a lot of goals, and it's just not going in right now, but we don't have any time to talk negatively about it or not have confidence in our abilities. We have to go out there and do it tomorrow.
Do you guys have to win out in order to make the playoffs? Are you confident you guys can do that?
Yeah, we know we can win 5 games, but it's not going to be easy. We're going to play some really good teams. We have to find, I think, our on-ice chemistry as unit of 5 because that seems to be, in my opinion, the difference between scoring goals or not. I keep mentioning make that extra play. Well, it's also knowing where the guys on the ice are going to be, making sure we bail each other out when we put each other in tough positions, and we have to find that tomorrow.
Because you guys have had so many injuries and the lineup has been switched so much, does it feel like you're kind of trying to find that chemistry and you're playing against teams that have it?
It does at times feel like that, and that's the honest answer, but at the same time, good players can play with anyone, and it's more, I think, last night was an example, right? Like they switch up the lines, and you just worry about your own game. You can contribute a whole lot more to the team than if you're worrying about trying to get something going with your line mates. I haven't played much with Stevie and Daddy, but I thought our line created a lot last night just because we were focused on ourselves as individuals. I know we didn't put one in 5-on-5, but you know the opportunities were there, and I think with some confidence, or you know that little scrum in the third period around the net, a bounce there, we're feeling a whole lot better about ourselves. So I got to keep working to try and create those opportunities and put ourselves in those positions.
Matt, they're not teams that sure want to win the playoffs after one month late. How do you approach it mentally? What's the best approach between now and next Friday?
The process and one day at a time. We're playing Washington. That's all that matters. And if everybody just focuses on, you know, one shift, one game at a time and brings their best, we know what we have in this room. We have a lot of skill. I talked about, you know, a lot of guys are back from injuries, and we have a lot of great players in this lineup. So block out the rest and just worry about your own game one shift at a time.
When you first came here, I remember the introductory press conference you talked about talking out with your son, the excitement about wanting to come here, the crowd. A lot of that was the locker room, the chemistry. When you fast forward to now, is it the same? Does it feel, it's not the same players, but that chemistry and bond that you wanted to be a part of, that was reverberating around the league, why everyone wanted to come here. Does it feel the same? Because it doesn't feel the same. Not as an indictment on the players when it comes to press conferences, it just doesn't have that same vibe.
I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with winning. You never heard someone say a bad word about a player in the league when he has a big year. So I think the chemistry and camaraderie comes hand in hand with winning. Right now, we're not winning, obviously, at a high enough clip to be where we want to be. So maybe that's why it could look that way. But we have a lot of veteran leadership. We've lost a lot of veteran leadership, is what you're referring to. But we do have guys that have either have an opportunity here to step up and kind of transition from young guy to a leader, or guys that have come in and helped lead. There's been a lot of leadership that's been out with long-term injuries this year, and that's myself included, trying to look for my game. I thought last night I found my game, so hopefully, like I said, when it goes hand in hand with your game, it's tough to speak up when you're not playing at your best. So you got to hold yourself to a higher standard on the ice, and I think then off the ice, that camaraderie and that leadership kind of takes care of itself.
Guys, anything else for Max? Appreciate you, Gotcha.
Yep.
Thanks, Max.
He said something that stood out to me there about cherry picking a game or two and saying that it's a
They
problem.
scored 6 against Calgary.
Yeah,
3
I have
games
the
ago.
April schedule pulled up. They scored 5 against Seattle, 3 against Vancouver, 1 against Vancouver is an outlier in the stretch, but then 6 against Arizona, 4 against Vancouver in Vancouver, 6 against Calgary before that Edmonton game came. There it is. Floyd again, giving us everything we need
Floyd's
to see.
on the ball.
He's the man. All right, so
He's not on his phone distracting me.
unlike me. Point
Dave
being,
Goucher just drove his car off the road.
point being, do you agree with him that it's not necessarily fair to just look at the Edmonton and New Jersey game and say that the offense is dried up? And also, what is going right? Why does it seem to be so many goals at once? Why do you think they come in bunches? What's happening right when it's coming?
Well, first of all, I think so much of this is an overreaction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's teams never miss the playoffs. People are freaking out. Great, they care, right? And that's the passion that pays us all. But the reality is, they've been banged up. They've got some players back. Pete said they've dried up last night. That's 2 games.
That's an emotional reaction as well, though,
For
too.
sure.
You're talking to
Yeah,
him right
yeah,
after.
Yeah, they just lost a game that was big time winnable, and listen, last night they scored a goal off a shin pad, and they scored a goal at 6-on-5. But they hit 3 posts. Nick Waugh had 2 breakaways. Carlson had a breakaway. Stevenson had a point blank chance on the power play. Carlson had a can of corn in the slot. Puck didn't drop last night. That's, and Andrew Hammond, he won and he was excellent. Tell me one big save he made.
Yeah.
It was the puck hit
there
him.
were some scrambles there
He
in the
stayed-
end of that game.
He stayed in the
yeah.
middle of the net and said, "You're going to have to pick a spot."
Which is kind of what Mike Smith did as well, correct?
I
I mean, he made big saves.
he
but
made a couple big saves.
I know Darren Elliott kept calling him a roller hockey goalie in that game, just playing that,
Hey, it worked.
It did work. It did work.
Yeah.
He was just saying it's not going to work every time, right?
No,
so
for sure.
Vegas
Yeah.
runs into 2. Maybe you're
Yeah.
saying maybe Hammond wasn't necessarily.
I think he had a strategy and he followed it to a T.
Yep.
Made the saves he was supposed to make, stayed in the middle of the net, rebound control. Vegas got no second chances until they scored 6-on-5. Right? You know what I mean? For
Which
most
they've
of
been
the
very
night,
strong at all season.
for most of the night, there was not a lot of loose change to get your hands on. So give them credit. Give the whole team credit for doing that. But I just like the sky is falling, fire him, trade him, blah, 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 blah. You can pretend that the injuries don't matter. That's not true. The injuries are the number one story in Vegas this year. Maybe not in, I shouldn't say story. It's the number one factor as to where the Golden Knights are right now. And if you want to pretend that doesn't matter, you're wrong. Only 4 teams have ever made the playoffs with 400 games, 400 or more man games lost. No team has ever made the playoffs 500 or more. Vegas is right at 500 or one over last night.
And they're still in the fight.
Fight.
Remember that. Still in the fight here. Still in the fight. 5 games to go.
For sure.
Points to be made up. Like you said, there's nothing that says LA, Dallas, Vancouver are all going to win out either.
Yeah, listen. And until they're out, you get your pen. Now it's your pen that's distracting.
It's my pin.
What do you got now?
I'm just getting ready.
Get ready for your live read?
Getting ready, yes. Take some preparation.
You need to meet Andrew Patterson. He was my radio partner for 11 years.
You pick on him like this as well?
Oh, no. He just he would find this. He would be so mad at me right now because we were never on TV or, like we are right now. And I was on my phone the whole time, and he'd say something, and I'd say, well, what about this? And he'd be like, I just said that.
Dave Goucher again.
And the fact
that
that I'm being distracted by your pen is ridiculous. Beyond, it's egregious, to quote our great friend Dan Duva. Until they're out, until they're extinguished. Like Wednesday night is the opportunity of the season.
Against a strong team, which does a lot as well.
Alex Ovechkin has come
Yep.
out. Listen, he got here last night. I don't know where they're staying, but he got himself in front of a blackjack table.
You're hoping that Vegas flu kicks in.
Crushed a dozen Bud Lights. He's walking by the pool right now. I look good with my shirt off. Peeling down. Maybe ordering another dozen Bud Lights, But then he has the ability, greatest goal scorer of our generation,
right,
to show up and put it in the net, right? He's going to be good on Wednesday night. He celebrated a Stanley Cup on this ice at T-Mobile Arena. And now he comes here and he has the chance to, if we win, we might knock Vegas out. That would be great. That wouldn't feel as good as when we won the cup here, but it'll feel really good. So he's going to be good. He's going to play his best. So that's a challenge. That's for Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, Alec Martinez, Jake Lecision, you name it. They don't want it easy. You don't get to this height, the highest height of your profession, by wanting things to be easy. You want challenges.
They love the challenge.
That's
what they
those
play
guys
for.
Up in the morning.
That's what they play for.
That's who they are.
Shane Hnidy made a comment on the broadcast last night that this is what, you didn't get to this point without having to overcome things like this,
Absolutely.
right?
So for the Golden Knights, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to wake up Thursday and say, not you, Alex Ovechkin, not yet, hockey world. We're still alive. That's what they're playing for right now, and they have to revel in that. It was interesting. They looked nervous early on last night, and that's the danger of letting a team hang around. They let New Jersey hang around, and then Hammond came up with his game of the season. They lost. They know all of this way better than you and I. The conversations going on downstairs
Without a doubt.
are what do we have to do and how do we do it? And I expect they'll be real good on Wednesday night. But again, We'll save that discussion for another time.
we'll preview Wednesday night. Fans are curious about the line combinations. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some other things when we come back. We're going to take a break, but first, stop by and visit City National Arena located in downtown Summerlin. Bring the family to learn to skate like the pros at the official practice facility of your Vegas Golden Knights. For hours and programming, visit citynationalarena.com. We'll be back nighttime at noon. Well, welcome back, and don't miss the first concert at the Dollar Loan Center as a Billboard chart-topping country star Easton Corbin and friends headline the Dollar Loan Center housewarming party on Friday, April 29th. Tickets start at just $25, and a VIP package is also available for the ultimate experience at this celebration of country music. Visit thedollarloancenter.com for details on this landmark event at Henderson's newest entertainment venue. Gary, a country concert. I know you're a big country guy.
I like country. Yeah. Yeah,
Gonna
I
be
don't know
great
much
there at
of
the Dollar Loan
Easton
Center.
Corbin and friends.
A little more country than that. That's the hit. Gary
Oh
says
yeah,
play
a
the
little,
hits.
a little
That's
more
the
country
hit.
than that.
Yes, that's Easton Corbin.
No kidding.
Yep, OG Easton Corbin.
I was watching a show last night set in, couldn't sleep, Haven, Arkansas.
Ah,
You know what that is?
I do not. I should.
It's a real good program called The
should.
Invisible Pilot.
Good to know.
Yeah.
For listeners that don't know, big Arkansas girl over here. Woo Pig Suey, as we like to say. But
Say that again?
Woo Pig Suey.
Woo Pig Suey.
Yep.
What does
Gary's
that mean?
going to be rooting on the Razorbacks. It's called Calling the Hogs. We got more important things to talk about.
I don't know.
It's
Have an Ashley
university.
Vise say Woo Pig Suey.
It's a University of Arkansas thing. Anyways, I promised that we would get to some of these fan questions. Gary, something a lot of the fans asked was about the line combinations last night. What you thought about them, the reasons behind the change, all of that. I certainly have my thoughts and reasoning for why Pete DeBoer did what he did, but would love to hear what you have to say.
Well, he split up Stone and Pacioretty because they're both trying to find their games. Max just said he found his game. I don't think Mark has yet. So you don't want two guys trying to find their games on the same line. I understand that. Good point. I liked the Carlson line last night. I liked the fourth line last night. And Stevenson and Pacioretty, that line, they did generate. I wouldn't change the lines. I would, and like Eichel and Stone, like that makes sense. That should work. But they're both creative guys that want to hold the puck, and you know it's going to take a while for them to kind of figure one another out.
Some people were concerned about why.
I'll tell you, rather than the lines, what I had problems with last night from that line was their decision with the puck at the offensive blue line.
And that has nothing to do with the chemistry. That's decision-making
they,
player to
they,
player.
Last night, especially when you haven't played with one another a lot, you need to go simple. And they could have flipped the puck behind the D last night and then worked out from the blue line. And the other thing that does is create havoc in front of the net, because when you're coming from behind the net, people are going to the net. And that's something that they need to create. And so I would have liked to have seen them throw the puck behind the Jersey defense, and also, like, you know, they're not great. Make them work from behind. Instead, they let them gap up and challenge at their defensive blue line, and prevent that line from accessing the offensive zone. So I'd like to see them just tweak their strategy a little bit.
We're in agreement, though, that the lines made sense. It made sense to try something new, too. That's a situation where, unless you win, there's not much Pete DeBoer can do there, because if he keeps things the same, people are wondering, why are you keeping it the same when they're not scoring? If he changes it, it's that. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think Pete coaches from that basis, and you know what I mean? Like, that'll, you know, if you do that, you get fired, I think. You know what I mean? Because no disrespect to a lot of the stuff that's out there in the ether, Pete DeBoer's a very winning coach.
He seems to know when to shake it up and when to stay patient. Sure. That's impressed me throughout all season. Yeah. What do you think we'll see from a goaltending perspective? What have you seen out of Logan Thompson if he gets the nod? Pete DeBoer made a comment last night about his consistency when he's come in.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what Pete is thinking. I know that, you know, I am of the opinion right now that if a goalie wins a game, he stays out. If he loses a game, he comes out. Robin lost last night, so I put Logan Thompson in. That's all you care about right now.
That's
it's not someone finding their rhythm or whatever. Winning the game. So Robin lost last night. We can debate the merit of the goals against or not, whatever. He lost the game. Logan Thompson goes in.
Pete DeBoer's doing what he needs to do from that perspective for sure. It also makes sense. I mean, it made sense to put Robin in as well. The previous game
Logan
they
lost the game before.
So it's not a picking.
No.
It's going based solely on wins and
losses.
losses.
They need consistency in that. And they need the consistency to be the guy who won. So whoever wins stays in. Whoever loses comes out. To me, that has to be the guiding principle right now.
We didn't necessarily get an answer on that for sure through media availability today. I'm sure we will get one tomorrow based on who leaves the ice first. But we have one more break to take. When we come back, we'll talk about Fan Appreciation Week. We'll talk about this final homestand, the final 5 games of the regular season as well. We'll be right back. Nighttime at noon. The spectacular Hotel Californian in Santa Barbara, California is the newest exciting addition to the Foley Entertainment Group. Experience an extraordinary stay in one of 121 luxury guest rooms and suites. Taste the region's finest wine at Foley Food and Wine Society Tasting Room, and treat yourself to an unparalleled massage at Majorelle, the Moroccan-inspired spa, all in the heart of the American Riviera. Designed for domestic and international guests alike, Hotel Californian is the perfect destination for any traveler seeking a one-of-a-kind luxury experience. Hotel Californian is Santa Barbara's premier urban destination. Visit hotelcalifornian.com to book your stay today. And welcome back inside Studio 31. Ashali Vise with the VGK Insider, Gary Lawless. Gary, we've done a lot of looking back, talking about the hot topics, talking about all of it. What's gone well, what's not gone well. What do you want to see? Let's only look ahead here for the rest of this show. What's left of it? What do you want to see starting tomorrow night against the Washington Capitals, assuming that Alex Ovechkin has not been having the day in Vegas that you're hoping that he has had?
I'd love to see them score first. It just changes the whole narrative for them as a group. And they've been really good. They were great off the hop in Edmonton, didn't score. Great off the hop last night against Jersey, didn't score. And then as soon as the other team scores, it just lets, it changes the vibe in the building. I'm sure it changes the vibe on the bench. And the last two games, they've struggled to score. They've gotten behind, and that's allowed the other team to do it, to dictate the style of the game. So for me, love them to go out, play simple, dump the puck in early, go back. Listen, and if the defense backs up and gives you the blue line, yeah, don't dump it in. Move in on the rush. But if they gap up and they try and cling to that blue line, throw it behind them. The puck needs to go to open ice. So wherever the ice is open, put it. Put the puck there. I love the way this team responds when they get their forecheck going. Like, what have you liked about Jake Lecision lately? Well, when he gets the puck at the red line or the offensive side of it, he plays fast because he's not thinking. Throws it in there, gets on his horse, and goes in and tries to disrupt. That's worked for whoever's been with him of late. That's worked. It's been effective. I thought that we saw a lot of that from the Karlsson line last night. I thought William was really sharp, didn't score. That's something that you'd like to be different. So to me, that's, Washington's going to have a game plan tomorrow night. And if they want to, everyone calls Vegas a rush team. So if what their coaches are putting together right now is, let's take away the rush. If they want to take it away, it's gone. So don't fight it. Take what's available to you. And the coaches obviously can speak to that, but at some point in time as a player, you have to make that decision that I'm going to do the simple thing here and take what's available to me. And I guess it's, for some players, it's Keith Jones tells me a great story. He got to put on Mario Lemieux's line for a couple of games, and the first two times he had the puck, he dumped it in and then went after it. And after the second time, Mario said to him on the bench, look, I don't know where you played before or who you played with, but we don't dump the puck in. I keep the puck. Just give it to me and then go to the net. And that worked for them. Well, Vegas doesn't have Mario Lemieux. Nobody does. Right? What's available is what you take. And so that's what I'd like to see tomorrow.
So keep it simple. Probably for the rest of the 5 games, correct? I mean,
well,
it's probably time for no one to overthink.
I'm not worried about the next 5 games. I'm worried about the first period against Washington. That the focus should be that small, that narrow.
Do you think it's easy enough for them, or because of their, that athlete mentality, to truly take things one period, one shift at a time, like we hear?
I'm not in there, so I don't know. But Mark Stone knows way more about hockey than me.
Right.
He should know that. he should be able to stand up and say, we are not punching our ticket to the playoffs with a win tonight, or having our ticket to the playoffs taken away with a loss.
Yep.
So we got to build a wall here.
That's
this
the
is the
message
first
Pete DeBoer
brick.
said before that road
Let's
trip,
get
too.
the first brick, put it in place. Worry about the second brick after the first brick is in place.
Brick by brick.
There
Well,
you go.
I'm going to jump ahead to Sunday. We're not previewing the matchup. We're just talking about the fact that it's fan appreciation night. It's going to be a really cool
Are
night.
you going to get up on the fortress and go pig suey woo?
Maybe.
Did I get that right?
Woo pig suey.
Woo
is the order it
pig
goes
suey.
in. But no, I'll be all go
You should
Knights
do
go
that.
only.
You should crank the siren and say that just before you crank the siren. That should be part of your duties on Sunday.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Well, how could we appreciate our fans any more?
Than me doing that?
Yeah.
I know a few ways. We'll be giving out the awards
Oh,
for the
yeah.
fans.
Seventh man award?
Yep, the 7th player award.
Seventh player award?
Michael Amadio, Ben Hutton, Nick Waugh, Brett Howden. Fans can vote on who they think the 7th player award. It's who has exceeded expectations, gone above and beyond what they were expected to do in their role. Who do you like for that?
Well, Brett Howden was my guy, but he got hurt.
He could still be the guy, though, right? I mean, you would
Recency
argue.
bias is a factor in this. Mike Amadio has been good lately. Ben Hutton all year long. Who's the other one?
Nick Waugh.
Yeah, see, I expected this from Nick, so it's not.
And that's a compliment to him that you expected it, right?
Yeah, well,
it's
he's
almost a
good-
compliment to him that
he's a good player.
Do you think anyone would have guessed that Michael Amadio would have come in and had this kind of season when he was claimed off waivers back in November?
Probably Von Karpen or Jim McKenzie or Mick McCrimmon or whichever, Kelly Kissio, whoever scouted him.
Safe to say it's probably changed his career, though, no?
Yeah, well, somebody. Well, yeah, they signed him. They already signed him to a 2-year deal.
Yep.
Somebody saw him and said that guy can help us, and pushed for the organization to grab him.
Some special fans will get jerseys off their backs that night as well, so we hope that everyone will be
that's
there.
fun.
It is. Yep, they take them right off the back.
You get to go out on
Sweaty and
the
all.
ice.
Probably doesn't smell too good, but hey, it's worth it. It's
Oh
player
no,
worn.
it'll smell good. They've
Autograph.
got that.
Oh, Gary knows.
My daughter's jersey needs that. After she practices.
Yeah, we need
gets the spray.
Critter and the equipment crew
There you go.
out there making everything smell good. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us for Nighttime at Noon. We'll be back next week. Until then, important couple games coming up for the VGK. Tune in.